September 25th, 1936. She was a domestic engineer, traveling with her husband of 61 years around the world while he served in the U.S. Navy. She would tell anyone that would listen about how her 3 children were born on the same day, exactly 2 years apart. She enjoyed seeing sights and spending time with family. Perky was preceded in death by her husband, Elvin Day, her parents, and 2 siblings, a brother and sister. Priscilla is survived by 2 sons, Fred Day of Sterling, Massachusetts, John Day, and wife Jackie of Phoenix, and 1 daughter, Tina Bainey, husband Carlos of Caldwell, and a sister, Brenda, and husband Jim Farmer of Nampa, and also 6 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. There will be a celebration of life at 4 p.m. in Caldwell following this service. It will be held at her home at 4317 Compton Avenue. Now for my thoughts. I'm going to read this because then hopefully I won't cry. I've only known Perky for a couple years, but I've known of the family for years because Carlos is my cousin. By the way, besides being a domestic engineer, she had to have been a loving mother and grandmother. I've known her for taking Tina aside and giving her a great big hug, just knowing because she just needed it. I've seen Zach and Zeb. Zach and Zeb come and visit and give her a great big hug and a kiss, hello and goodbye when they visited, and that was pretty often. I've seen Fred and John, her sons, travel from afar, loving to visit their mother when they weren't sure if she even knew them. Just know she knew. She loved you. I've seen Sabrina lovingly care for Perky in the last few days and hours of her life, and most times when Tina needed to get that errand run or just to take a break. To all of this love, to get all this love given back during this time of need, she must have given a lot of love to each one of you. When I started visiting with the family a couple years ago, I was greeted by Perky with a smile and a kiss on my cheek every time I walked through the door. Tina had made up a photo album of family and friends, and it always sat by her chair. Sometimes she would just turn it and browse, touch the pictures. We looked through it many times. You could tell she really enjoyed that album. I want to thank you, Tina, for being a loving caregiver for your mother. She really did love you. In closing, I just remember the love. I just want you to remember the love she had for all of you. And personally, I will always remember this lovely lady and her smile. And I can't smile. Smile! I loved her smile. So that's all I can say. I'm shaking it.
Driving down the road, I burped out loud. And I said, excuse me. She turned and she looked at me and says, I'll think about it. And I just, plain as clear, you know, just, I'll think about it. And that was, I looked at her and just started laughing. And then, gosh, now I can't remember the other story I was going to tell.
That's why I had to write it down.
Oh. What did I do with it? So, run to my car real fast. There's an envelope in the cup holder, please. I gotta read that. I had to separate myself from being a daughter and into being a caregiver. If I let it go as a daughter, then I would have been torn up even more every single day. But we've had our good times, we had our bad times, but I will miss her. I will miss her dearly. My husband, Carlos, wrote something, and I want to read it for him. She let me call her mom. She quenched me when I thirsted. She let me call her mom. She fed me when I hungered. She let me call her mom. She always welcomed me when I needed a place to rest. But the thing I loved the best, she let herself be my mom. Mom, I'll miss you. I love you. You know what?
To her children. And this story was something that took place in Guam. And I believe at the time I was around 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years old, somewhere around in there. And I was having a bad day, and I remember being very ornery to my mom. So she took me to Toyland. It's a little store on the military base there. And she tried to find a toy for me. She wanted to make me happy. She wanted to cheer me up. And she picked up a toy off the shelf. And as I'm standing there, she's trying to demonstrate using the toy. And she hit me in the head. And it made things even worse for her. And I remember that because it just showed me one moment in her time, in her life, when she really was trying to do what I needed to make me happy. And in her best effort, it kind of backfired, I think, on her just a little bit. But I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about something I think is more upbuilding at a time when we're all very sad. We've lost a loved one. It's going to reference some scriptures from the Bible. And what we are experiencing here is the loss of a loved one. The Bible calls that, as we know, death. It calls that the last enemy. So why definitely death is an enemy. It's why we're sorry, we have so much sorrow when we die. But what's interesting is, in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11, it says that God has put eternity into our hearts. So it's not an instinctive thing or a natural thing for us to die. We have eternity put into us by God, and we want to live. And that's why we appreciate living and why death is so sorrowful for us. In fact, in one translation of the Bible, the term asleep in death occurs 37 times. 2 of those examples are talking about a wife being free to remarry, says, if her husband should fall asleep in death. One other occasion in the Bible, it refers to the day our forefathers fell asleep in death. So it really shows us that while death can be hard, the Bible kind of gives us an indication that it doesn't need to be viewed that hard. When we sleep, we tend to be comfortable. In fact, many people say, rest in peace of somebody that has died. In the book of Job, chapter 14, Job asked a very interesting question. He asked if a man could live again. Previous to that, he's talking about things of man dying. So he asked the question, can man live again? And the interesting answer to that is found in John chapter 5, verse 28. I'm just going to paraphrase it a little bit there. It says, do not be amazed at this, for the hour is coming in which all those in their memorial tombs will hear his voice and come out. That's referencing to a resurrection, a moment where God has promised us life. He's given us, the Bible says, the gift of life, that we're going to be able to have that gift once again, and we'll be able to be brought back to our loved ones who we have lost. To me, that's a positive point that the Bible teaches. Different religions have their different views about that, but I think we all agree that we will someday see our loved ones again. And that's a positive thought at a time when we need something positive. And I wanted to share that with you guys because I wanted to provide something that was a little bit upbuilding for us. So that's it. I look forward to seeing my mom and dad again.
Uncle Adele was reading the road signs. That reminded me of my mom. That's what she used to do. Every time we were going down the road, any road sign, she would read it. And that was one of the things that was unique about her. It's interesting that when referring back to the particular memory John chose one from Guam, because that's where my memories mostly seem to come from too. For some reason, maybe that's where I was in my age or something, but I think about our times in Guam. The kind of this playfulness that existed between, at least for me and my mom. We used to sing, there was a song that I think was popular at the time, and anything you can do, I can do better. And we would kind of sing that at each other. Like, anything you can do, I can do better. And it was just a fun thing that we had that was nice. I can also remember a time when, I don't remember what had happened or why, but I said to her, you don't love me. And she immediately just took me in her arms. And I can remember just the warmth of her arms around me and how that felt, because I really felt loved. So, yeah, I'm gonna miss my mom. And I look forward to the day when I'll see her again.
Mom had a thing for dates. She had all three of us kids all on May 28th, 2 years apart. But I guess she decided she needed to be with Dad. Dad passed on the 15th of May. Mom passed on the 15th of October. She kept her dates in mind. She's with Dad now. She's with the rest of her family. She will be dearly missed by all of us. We all love her in our own way. We all cared for her at one point or another. I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm sorry this is so short, but we did run late.